Hey everybody, it's Michael. I have a new video for you today. Today we're going to do some custom quilting on my client Carrie's quilt. This is another quilt of valor. And if you happen to enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, and get notified. You can always visit my website at michaelquilts.com. Okay, so on this quilt. All right, let's take a look at it. Here is a picture of the full quilt. So it has 4 panels in each corner that say United We Stand. And it has the eagle and the flag. And then on the sides and the top and the bottom are large borders, printed borders with stars. The interior is all pieced, and it's pieced pretty much with traditional blocks, very easy shapes. So we can do a lot of beginner ruler work quilting. Here's a close-up of the corner, which will do some more intricate work. I did decide to lay this out lengthwise on my frame, figuring as few advances of the quilt as possible, so I could quilt as much from left to right as possible within the throat space. And that worked out pretty well. I also did my all-over basting on this one, which there is a video I will link down below in the description. I find that I'm just doing that for most of my quilts anyway. And for the supplies, I am using Glide 40 weight in the top. And I want to thank, I don't remember her name, one of my YouTube subscribers told me that she uses a color called burnished gold in all of her Quilts of Valor quilts. And I responded to her on YouTube, and I thought, I don't have burnished gold, but I have some other golds, and I'm not sure what brand she was using. But anyway, I'm using Glide 40 in military gold, one of my favorite golds from Glide. So it's military gold, and I did not change the thread color at all through this quilt. In the bobbin, I'm using bottom line for this one, and I can't remember the color. It's something very, very neutral, just a light beigey neutral. And then I've got 80-20 batting, just a standard batting, because I'm not sure what she's doing with this quilt. I think it's a quilt of valor that she will be giving to a veteran. But who knows? She may keep it for herself like she did one of the other ones that I thought was being given away. The rulers that I'm using today, I am using the Curve 6, the Ditch Everything Mini, the Straight 8, and the Straight 12. All of those you could purchase on my website, michaelquilts.com. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so here we go. As you can see with the threads, I have basted this quilt, and then I took basting out for the section that I wanted to start with. And I've decided I'm going to ditch all of the big major shapes. What you'll notice is that I had to stop and do something, which was to put on my ruler base because I didn't have it on. So this is the first time I'm kind of showing footage that I normally would have deleted, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. Okay, so I've got my ruler base. I'm putting my ruler base on, which you should do anytime you're going to do ruler work. And as you can see, I have my ruler foot on. It has the higher walls around the outside there. Okay, so now we're going back. You're going to notice that, what is that cloth there with all the stitches? I always do tension stitches on the side first to make sure my tension is good. And you'll notice that I have my the side DIY leaders. There's a video on how to make those canvas ones that I'll link below also. Okay, so I have my ruler base on, and I'm back in business here. And I'm going to use the Straight 12 because I'm doing really big sections of ditch work first. Okay, so there's me showing you the Straight 12. Okay, all right. So just the big things, big seams. So I'm separating. This is where the panel and the border meet, and I'm ditching the best that I can. Look, you can see that some of it goes right down into the seam, some of it's not. It's really just because I'm using such a high contrast, and if I get onto the darker, it's going to show. Well, that's with like any quilt. All right, so I just changed my hand position only so that you could see better. Normally, I would still keep my ruler on the left side of the hopping foot as I'm looking at the hopping foot. Anyway, So really, it is just about doing these big bones first. That's what I prefer to do. That doesn't mean I'm going to do all of the big ditch work for the whole quilt first, but definitely in sections that I'm working, I try to get the stabilization down so then I can pull out some more of my basting, which you can see right now on either side of the hopping foot, top and bottom. As you can see, I just clipped that right there so that I could quilt over it prior to this. Well, that's Emerson shaking his collar, if you heard that. So yeah, just doing these big stitches first, and I typically use the straight 12 for this. And I think I told you when I'm doing straight line quilting, I tend to like to use a 10 for my stitch length, and then I increase to 11, 12, sometimes 13 for some of the other work that I do with feathers and pebbles, etc. All right, so getting all the ditch work done, then let's move on to some of the interior. This is the design. I don't know if you can see, I've marked with this one's with actually disappearing. It's not water soluble, so it's going to be gone pretty soon. I've marked some points for my dot to dot. So let's go ahead and let me show you that. I'm hitting the dot, and then I want to be a 1/4 inch away from this bottom point. I mean, I want to hit the bottom point with my stitching. Okay, now my next dot is right there. The way I did these was I did 1 inch and then 3/4 of an inch. As long as you stop there and make sure you get 1 stitch there, it's good. And let's talk about minimum sew speed and cruise mode, which we have talked about before, but I'll talk about it again. So here's my dot. I don't know if you can see it, it's almost gone. But I keep my machine in, for the Innova, it's start speed. Some of you might have cruise mode, or I'm not sure what all the other different names are. But I'm going to show you right now, if I push the start button, see how my machine's moving? I'm not moving. That's my start speed right there. And I think I set mine to 75. Yeah, 75 is what I'm using. So that means when I come here, oh, I just broke my thread. Okay, hold on, let me fix. Okay, sorry about that. So as I was saying, when I get here, I'm gonna pause for a second. Pause. See, it just took a couple of stitches. And then I can come back out. That's just so that you get the sharp curve, the point, when you are gonna change directions. And also if you get to the end of a line and then are going to go in a different way. If you don't take that little pause, sometimes you miss the stitch that you actually need to form that design and make that point sharp. Here we go. Okay, so I know I got an extra stitch there. That's perfect. And now we're gonna go back. Okay, so now I'm at the beginning of that. That's the simple design that I'm doing in these. Okay, so now I can outline this block, or this little square, stitching in the ditch. And on this one, I really want the thread to show, so I'm erring towards the light side. If I get a little bit on the red, that's fine, but I'm not trying to get right in the ditch. I am actually wanting to see that line of stitching right on the edge. Okay, so I did that block. What I need to do is actually ditch the whole star, because I never fully did that, so let's do that now. And since I'm doing these shorter spans, I could either go with the straight 8 or the ditch area. I think I'm just gonna use a straight 8. It's just slightly less cumbersome than the 12, although I use the 12 for just about everything. But this one is nice and light to just flip around as needed. And if you're new, go slower than me. And in fact, when you get a little too confident, sometimes you get a little too cocky, and bad things happen, and that happens to me. So sometimes I have to tell myself, all right, just calm down, go slow. And see, I am stitching where I want to stitch. I don't really want to be right in the ditch. I like this little bit of outline. And you can see I've already outlined this part of the star, but I'm going over it again, and I'm okay with that. I just I don't feel like it's too much buildup. Not with this one. You know, even though it's 40 weight thread, I don't think it looks bad when you backtrack and go over it. Okay, now the star is outlined. So now I'm going to go back and I'm outlining the square on point block. I'm saying outlining a lot today. I mean stitching in the ditch. I guess you know that, but it's outlining too. Okay, I've gotten to this square and I don't see the marks for it. So let me get my pen. All right. So anywhere the seam is, and the seam goes in different directions, so this pattern actually spins a little bit. It's not exactly the same. I mark it 1 inch and 3/4. Let's see, 1 inch, 3/4. Those are my little marks. All right, I'm gonna use, you know what, let me see if, I'll use the little Ditch Everything Mini. This one's even more convenient. It's lighter. Here we go. Okay, I paused there. I'm gonna go out to the corner. Next mark. And back into this corner. Next mark. Corner. I think Angela Walters says touch. Don't touch. Touch. Okay. For me, I go point, corner. I love Angela Walters. Okay, I'm going back to this outlining. I could still use the Ditch Everything Mini. If I want. It's just kind of the right thing. If you are using this and you're enjoying the needle stops, this one's almost perfect for this length. It probably is perfect, actually. If you can see that I'm putting the edge of the Mini on that seam line right here, and this side is butted up right up against the hopping foot. But if I put this here, I should have a straight line and it should stop right there at the intersection. However, we know fabric is fabric, and sometimes a perfectly straight line is not what you want. It is if you're doing like a whole cloth or you're doing a design inside something, but when you're following a seam line, you really are better off following the seam line and not following the ruler. I'm going to use the ruler this time, and it happened to work great, and now the needle stopped it there. So this was perfect for that, which is what? That's a 3.5. So if you look at this, yeah, a 3.5 inch seam line works out really well. Oops, with that. Okay, so I've done that block now. I just need to ditch up to the next one. Okay, this one has its marks on it, so I'm gonna go I'm gonna go stitch, 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 and then I'll be able to finish this block here. So, you know, a lot of it is, you know, what's your path, which way you're gonna go, and finding the most efficient way to quilt. So here we go. Hit the point. Now I'm gonna travel out to the corner, the top. Okay, I'm gonna come back down and hit that mark. Now I'm gonna go to the corner. Okay, gonna try to hit this mark. And did you hear me say I'm gonna try to hit it? That's really all it's about. These marks are gonna go away. No one's gonna know if you're not exactly right. I guess I do like this. The Ditch Everything Mini, it's a nice little tool for this size of thing. I mean, when you get any bigger than this though, it's not gonna be your friend all the time. Okay, so I got to the edge there. Now, like I said, I could still use this, and if you really like needle stop, I would keep going, but I feel like the freedom of having a little bit more ruler to work with like this is where I am with how I like the quilt. Sorry if that sounded weird. Okay, so I finish here, and now once I get here, there. I have outlined this entire block on point, but I did not do this top square with the dot-to-dot design, so I have to get in there. And you could either break thread and start over here, or you could travel. And if you traveled, would you go here and cross there? No, you don't want to go over your feathers. You could go here, and you could go here, and here. That's 1, 2, 3. You could go here, here, here. Oh no, you can't. You need to be here or here. That's where you want to start. Oh, so you could just go right here. See? Talk it out. I forgot because we want to go from this side to this side, so this makes way more sense. Okay, I'm gonna use the straight 8. I remember I could have used the Ditch Everything, but I'm using the straight 8 on this one. Multiple tools, same job, gets it done. Okay. These are just very simple designs, right? Okay, I'm working on this next block that kind of interlocks with the previous one that I just did. This is the, it's kind of a red sawtooth star with a gold square in the center. So in the gold centers, I'm doing a continuous curve, simple petal design. I want to ditch the star. We're doing the same dot-to-dot designs in the squares, the light squares that are surrounding it. So I'm going to try a few different ways to where I don't have to do a ton of backtracking, although I will need to backtrack. But let me show you what I'm talking about. Instead of just outlining the whole star and then doing something else and then something else, I'm going to see if I can do partial designs, finish some things, and then come back. So first, I'm using the curve at 6 to do my continuous curve inside here. So let me show you how that one's working. I'm going from corner to the point in the center. So I'm trying to be about a 1/4 inch away. Okay, I hit center. Now I'm going clockwise with this. So that's half of the petal. We'll finish the other half later. So now this is one, remember my curves, same curve on the inside as the outside. So I'm able to just flip that around and use the inside part now instead of doing that with my hand or this with my hand. Okay, so I'm just using the inside of the curve now. Now once I'm here, it looks like I need to ditch this right here. Now once I'm here, I can come back down. Okay, go out to the other point. All right, once I'm there, if I want to, I can jet out and do some ditching, but I can see that that's already ditched. So let's just go ahead and finish this. Using the inside. There's really just a couple times where I use the inside. I did it once up here, I did it once over here. I could do it here, but I actually prefer to do it this way on this one. All right, so I did that design. Now, the other part of this was I said we needed to ditch the square. So remember, we started down here. This is the bottom left for me. I did the whole flower design. Now I'm going to go clockwise and ditch the square. And then I'm going to end up where I started. Whether that's the most efficient, I don't know, because I'm getting ready to backtrack right here. But I'm okay with that. So I'm going over that line. Now at this point, I could either come up here and outline the star. I think that is what I'm going to do to a certain point. Let me show you what I'm going to do. Here we go. I'm going to go ditch. Ditch. Remember, with customers' piecework, go with what the piecework is, not with what the design is. So if she doesn't have a sharp point here, or he doesn't have a sharp point here, just outline what the patchwork is and not make a big deal about it. Otherwise, you kind of draw attention to a possible small mistake. All right, so I'm outlining the red of the star. And I'm going to do this part. I'm going to go up. Okay, when I hit here, I'm going to stop because I already have that ditch and I have the design here, but I'm going to continue with this outline of the big block that's on point. And now that I'm here, remember this dot to dot design? It should let me end up right where I started. So this is a good time to go ahead and do this. Switch rulers if you want, you don't have to, but I'm going to. Okay, dot, corner, hit the mark, top corner, mark, corner, mark, back to where we started this design. I'm going to switch, and now I'm going to finish this big block on point where we left off. See, I don't always know. I'm not always as smart to plan it out, but you know, back in the old days, I may have outlined the whole block first, and then I might have done something first and something else. But the more you quilt, I'm trying, you know, I'm still learning. I've been quilting for a long time, but it's like, oh, let's stop here, or let's just do this here instead of stopping and doing it later. So here's another spot where I want to talk about if you're doing this for someone or if you're doing this for yourself. Those 2 points don't meet, but just follow it the best you can and jog over and then continue. You know, I don't want to put a straight line across where it should have been. Just Give them a break. All right. Okay, now I have outlined this whole square on point, but I did it in lots of little chunks. I didn't do it as all of one go. And then I need to go back and see, in my mind, did I hit everything? It looks like I have one bit of a star leg that didn't get a ditch up there. So, you know, when am I going to do that? I don't know. But I'm down here. I need to finish this last dot to dot. So let's do that one. You should have this down pretty quick by now. You should have, yeah, you know what I meant. This disappearing marker, this is the air soluble one. It should be gone in the morning, but if not, you can do what you do with the water soluble ones, and you could do a little damp cloth or a little spray, a little mist, or sometimes I get a Q-tip and just dampen it a little bit. Okay, so now I have all 4 of those squares done. Okay, so will I ever remember to go back up there? I probably won't. All right. So let's just do it. Okay, now it's done. What I'm doing in these are feathers, half feathers, sort of. Actually, what's happening is I'm using this line as the spine, and I'm doing feathers on either side. So I'm going to come in here and do these feathers, and then I'm going to come back out, and I'm going to go around the other way, because I've got a stitch in the ditch here and here. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to travel down. This is going to be my stem, or my vein, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to feather all the way around. I'm going to do it clockwise. Here we go. Okay, and that's enough for me. I don't need to hit that corner. I might try to a little bit later, but I'm okay that I didn't. So remember, the way I'm doing bump back feathers, the more formal feather. So let me talk it through on the next one. I know I've done this before, but just in case. Okay, so I'm going out to start my first feather. I'm going to backtrack and then come around. Okay, and now I'm going to split the difference between the vein. I've called it a vein, a spine, and a stem. Between there and this feather. So right here at this sort of area is where I want to come up, and then I go out. Backtrack, come back down. Split, go out. Backtrack, come back down. I might do one more here, but if I do one more, I'm gonna have to do even another one. Okay, I'm still okay with that. All right, so my feather goes to the left and the right of this line here. That's a little bit wonky out there. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did it. Okay, now on this one, even though I don't have the spine yet, I'm still going to act like that's the spine, even though I haven't stitched it. Feather in. Here we go. Split the difference. Backtrack. Come back in. Split the difference. Go out. Backtrack. I'm going to make that the last one. Now I'm going to create that spine. Go down to the bottom. Okay, here we go the other direction. Same thing. I'm going to make this my last one for that. Come back down to the center. Okay, so now I'm ready to do this one. As long as you are remembering to come down into that spine and not at a 90-degree angle, then it's going to look like everything is flowing from the spine, and that's the idea. So remember, I'm going to split the difference between that spine and where I already have my feather, and I'm going to try to stitch in the middle first, swing out, curve, backtrack, and then start my next one. Here we go. They're not perfect, but it's okay. And I'm okay that that's the last feather here. If I would have gone back out here and done another one, then I would have had to have done even one more to get back, unless I completely backtrack. So let's just leave it at that, where it is, okay? I think it's fine. Travel back down, and you see I just was wavy when I traveled down. You could use a ruler if you want to come back down straight. I'll do it on the next one, but I'm okay that it's more organic. So here we go. Feather out, backtrack, back down into the spine, split the difference, feather out, backtrack, back into the spine, split the difference, feather out, backtrack. This is going to be my last one. Come back in and see, I can go ahead and use the ruler here and go straight, but really you're not going to tell. And there's actually like 4 different lines across there, but it looks fine. Okay, so now we're going to do this last one, this last section here. Okay, so here we go. Split the difference, feather out, backtrack, split the difference, feather out, backtrack, our last one. And I'm trying to fill in the space as much as possible, knowing that I didn't get the tip. That's okay though. All right, here we go. And this one and then this last one. Okay, and that completes all of the feathering for the 8 points. Okay, what I'm going to show you next is mostly everything that you've seen before, but there are a few new elements. So I'm doing the star again, all the feathers in the star, and then I'm going to show you my path from left to right all the way across the quilt and back. So how I complete the blocks, and there's a couple of things you haven't seen before, but I'm going to speed it up. And I'm going to give you some music. So you are more than welcome to fast forward and go through it even faster if you'd like. But I think it's really important to see how I actually work all the way across the quilt and all the way back to complete the simple motifs, okay? And then after that, stay tuned because there's more. This is a long video, I know. But there's more new stuff, okay? So I'll see you when I get back, okay? So enjoy watching the path, because I think it's pretty interesting if you are new to quilting and can't quite figure out where you should go first, second, and third, etc. Okay, here we go. doing some pebbling. I wanted to flatten down the background on these continuous curves, and so I'm putting pebbles in there. I added some pebbles in a couple of strategic places on this block, not on this one in particular, but you'll see when I'm finished. And but still, I still want you to think of this custom quilt as beginner custom quilting, with dot to dot, continuous curve, simple things. The hardest parts are the pebbles and the feathers, which are both just free motion without using rulers, and those you can modify if you'd like, but I haven't talked about pebbles in a while. So mine are organic, which means they do not look the same. I get a rhythm and I travel as many times as I want to around them to get to the next pebble. So here, like when I start up in the corners, I make them really small, and then they get a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. I go over my, like watch, 1.5. Down to the next, 1.5, down to the next. Some are more than 1.5. It depends. Like right now I'm filling in. I know that I'm going to fill in, and I'm going to go down here, and then I'm going to start here, and I'm going to fill in this whole area. So sometimes I'm following along a line and the next line, and then filling in the center. Sometimes I'm filling in kind of diagonal, but either way, I'm filling the space with circles. And the first time you make a pebble, it might not look like a circle, but once you trace around it 1.5 or twice or whatever, then it looks more round. So you get this pattern where you'll start tracing around, and they'll look round-ish. Okay, and that's the idea. For me, anyway, that's the idea. I'm not going for anything other than round-ish. And mine might look like cobblestones, not pebbles. Maybe they're elongated, but pebbles, pebbles on the beach. They're not uniform. So I am in regulated mode. I have it at 11 stitches per inch. I might go up to 12, but since I haven't talked about pebbles in a while, I'm gonna also show you what happens when you put it in manual mode. Okay, so we are still in regulated, and sorry, this is obviously specific for long arming. So I'm still in regulated, right? I'm making my pebbles and taking care of that part there, the corner, going around, flattening down. Okay, if I try to do it with one hand so that I can stop the vibration of the quilt, I don't make them as round. That's something I'm still, learning. So I do two hands for the most part. But listen to the machine, and you can see the way that it makes the pebbles and regulated. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to take it over to manual. Let me take the speed down a little bit from what I had it at in manual. Okay, for me on this one in manual on the Innova, I'm putting it to 1,000. That's my manual speed. I am not sure how that translates to Handy Quilter or APQ, any of the others really. I don't know. Okay, so I mean, I can tell a difference when I start this. First of all, it's going to be smoother because the encoders aren't engaged for doing regulation. And I have to keep my movement up to keep the stitches at about the same. So here we go. Now, I can feel a huge difference in the way that my machine is gliding across this. In fact, I can hold it down and get smoother. I can get rounder with one hand in manual mode than I can in regulation mode. But basically, I just have to keep moving. And sometimes when I'm doing pebbles, I do like to do this. It's, in a weird way, it's slightly less, it takes slightly less strength to move the machine. not that it takes a great deal of strength to move a Longarm, but anyway, the pebbles come out just the same. And I don't know, sometimes it's fun to just go into manual. Okay, so that was manual mode. So I have basically, I just felt like that I needed more texture, because since these are such simple lines basically for this quilting design on all of the interior, I really need to define some areas with extra texture and not just lines, and this really does it for me, and that's all that I need. So anyway, so I'm going back and I'm pebbling all of these gold blocks, and then we'll move on and we'll do the corners, and I'll show you what I'm doing there. Okay, so let me show you what's going on in the corners. I've completed one. I'm going to do the next three and I'll walk you through it, but basically my heavy fill is the pebbles with the stars, with the red background. And basically my pebbles are around the same size of the stars so that I could circle the stars. Okay, and then much lighter work. Just simple lines. I'm going, well, if you look at the quilt, this is the way it is here. So technically those are diagonal lines with the blue background. And then I switch the line direction to go right out to the edge of the quilt on that. So that's pretty simple, okay? The red is my most intricate part of the quilt. And now for the eagle, I'm just doing rough outlining. Do you see this? Just a rough echoing of the basic shape and suggestions of basic shapes of the feathers. I did completely ditch the shield though, so that I did a little bit more on the exact, but the rest is just kind of suggestions. Okay, which I think works good, because overall this quilt has, I need it to stay a combination of simplicity with a little bit of added detail. Okay, here's what the edges look like. Okay, now I did ditch every one of these stars with the red background, and then I connected them with the line. So I'll show you how I did that. And that does take quite a while. So the only place I do that is the red section. Back up here in the blue, I've got simple lines like I did in the corner, but these simple lines are about 2 inches apart, and they kind of are like large piano key in a way. And then there's a diagonal that I put in it as well, because I could see that from the print of the fabric that I could do that. So anyway, very simple. Okay, so here we are. This is the second one, and I haven't started yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is the red corners, and then I'll do the big stripes, and then I'll come over to the eagle and the shield. Okay, and again, I'm not switching thread. I'm using gold throughout the whole thing. All right, so here we go. Well, I think I promised to show you the eagle and the other parts of the corner, but I cannot seem to find the footage. So this is what I have for you. I hope you've enjoyed this lengthy custom quilting journey. And I'm showing some pictures here of the finished quilt. And I want to also thank everyone who's reached out and sent me nice messages. I live really close to Dallas, Texas, just outside, and this has been a tough week. So I do have power now, but no running water yet. However, it's given me, it took me a full day to edit this video, and it was one of the most joyful things that I've done in a little while. So thanks everybody for your support, and I always love sharing content with you and am appreciative of your feedback. And please thumbs up and subscribe if you have enjoyed this content. And if you didn't, I'll try to do better next time for you, okay? And I hope everyone stays safe and warm, and I can't wait to see you next time, okay? Happy quilting, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.